We have here in front of us a Dypsis triangle palm, and it is in flower with just a few feet of trunk here in the side of my yard in my rock garden. Today we are cross-pollinating this inflorescence here. It's been trimmed up and I've already removed all of the males several weeks ago, and we just have female flowers left over there. So I'm applying what I call the date method or date palm method, to where I apply pollen to individual branches and then secure and protect the pollen. So here, this is kind of nice because from one inflorescence, I can apply donor pollen from another Dypsis to each of these branches. So here, what I've done is applied some Dypsis cavata pollen to this inflorescence here, or excuse me, to this branch of Rachile here. And what I do is I use twine to just kind of wrap it up and bundle it, which is what they do in the date palm industry in many cases. And before I apply the twine, I just take a bag of pollen and just scrape it or smear it all over that branch. And tying it up with the jute just simply allows me to come in with parchment paper afterwards. This is one that's already done, and it gets wrapped in parchment paper, and this protects the pollen that's inside from wind and direct sunlight and cold to some extent and rain. As you can see, it's sprinkling a little bit right now. So the whole goal is to have all this pollen just sit on the female flowers undisturbed and uninterrupted. And as the female flowers open in the next week, they will have a bountiful pollen there to impregnate them and hopefully produce some seed. So I'm gonna try to make 3 different hybrids off of this one inflorescence here. This branch here of Rachile on this triangle palm, I have smeared with cavata pollen and wrapped in jute twine. And then the next step is I take some parchment paper. Parchment paper is good. It's very similar to wax paper, but it's waterproof, so the rain just kind of beads off of it, and it does allow airflow and doesn't completely suffocate all of the flowers and the pollen. So what we'll do is just kind of carefully wrap this, very carefully, and just be available for when the female flowers open. So we just completely cover this, apply a piece of tape. Notice I'm being very, very gentle, and we're gonna put one more piece of tape right here at the end, just to secure the end there. So the goal with this parchment paper is to allow some airflow out of both ends so that you don't suffocate the pollen. It does need a little bit of airflow, but obviously it's going to be protected from rain. And this bag will come off about a week after pistillate anthesis. So after all of the females have opened and become impregnated, you can peek inside the bag and see them, and they all look like little tiny seeds. And then I'll carefully take off all of this parchment paper, I'll take off the jute, and we have 1, 2, 3 individual branches that have been pre-pollinated with Dypsis cavata pollen. And again, they do this in the date palm industry, and I've began doing it here in my yard, and it's been working out very well.